Artistic Gamer 7, and I'm back with yet another speed build. If you watched the speed build of the one that I called the Koi Cottage, then you know that I was sort of in a building mood recently, and I mentioned how there was actually other builds that I was already had worked on, and that I had future ones planned, or I was going to try to build some more even afterwards. So this is one of the three that I've actually already completely have done and has been completed and recorded and everything. So this was the second one. This is the smallest one out of the ones that I've built, I think, the whole entire time. This and the August collab build probably are the two smaller ones, but I still love both of them. For this one, I did one element from, like, well, sort of like, there was two houses that I sort of looked at from, like, finding them online that I took a little bit of inspiration for, not much. Mainly that little back patio area out there that eventually will have a pool in it. That area I probably took more inspiration from what I found online than any of the rest of the house. But I basically am meshing a bunch of inspirations here and also just some experimentations as well to sort of get these houses to try to get them to look different and also just sort of challenge and experiment myself with my building skills. I didn't, basically, since this is one of the smallest ones, I didn't cut out most parts of this video. I do cut out a little bit of the roof building because I ended up being really, really stupid because I wanted to have, basically upstairs is where the master bedroom and the master bath is, which I usually do. I tend to put the master bedroom at the highest level in the houses just because to me that seems fitting. But I struggled for some reason with this roof because I wanted to have like that deck area that technically is still covered by the roof, but you can still come and sit out on from the master bedroom. And I, for some reason, for the life of me, because this is a pretty simple looking roof. It's not meant to look complicated. It's supposed to be like a simple, cutesy sort of type of house. But for some reason, I took forever trying to figure out what in the world I was going to do with this roof to make sure that I could have all of it covered, including this little deck area, and have the deck look like it's sunk into the house and the roof is coming over top of it, and still have it functioning, the way that I wanted it to. So it took me a while to sort of figure that out and get that down pat. So I just cut some of that out because I was like, I look like an idiot. I'll tell them that I'm an idiot in the video, but they don't need to actually sit there and watch me go through all of these roof struggles. So I did not leave that in. And also, since I am using like a mix of inspiration but also trying to play around, you will notice that I do change things quite often as well. But since I didn't take most of this stuff out, you'll actually get to see a lot of that. The only parts I took out is where the mouse is like, I'm not moving because I got distracted by something else, or I had to go grab a bite to eat or something like that, or drink, whatever it may be. Or if I'm only slightly moving the mouse because my hand, one of my biggest things is like I usually end up watching, I'm usually either editing a video on the side and I'm letting it process, or I'm listening to music, or I'm watching some others' YouTube channels, or I am watching TV. So sometimes, particularly with the TV, it's behind me. So I'll leave my hand on the mouse and I'll look back behind me to sort of watch a scene, because listening to it usually is fine and sort of just getting a glimpse at it here and there. But sometimes I hear something that sounds like really, really interesting. I'm like, what? And I just get totally distracted, and my hand's still on the mouse, but where I'm trying to look backwards, my hand is like fidgeting and shaking and sort of making the screen move a little bit, but I'm not actually doing anything. Those type of parts are the parts that I did actually cut out. So, but yeah, for the most part, there's nothing taken out of this build, so you actually get to see a lot more than usual. Since this is such a smaller build, it allowed me to do that. And it allowed you to sort of see how chaotic sometimes my thought process is while I'm doing these builds. Like, should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? No, I don't like this. I don't like that. Like, the main floor, the floor plan changed so much once you actually get to see it, because I could not decide on what to do with it. And where I had to put the staircases, like, I didn't have many options for the staircase to go upstairs with how the upstairs shaped, so I couldn't put it, like, on the outside of the build, because there's no part of the build, like, on the upstairs that you Sims are allowed to walk in that is actually on the same wall as the downstairs wall. So, definitely had a little bit of, like, struggle there trying to figure out how to get things to work. And I do actually eventually add a basement. I normally know right away that I'm going to add a basement, and I originally did not plan to add a basement. But I realized that I do eventually want this to sort of be like a family home at some point and be able to use as a family home or a guest home. So, and the thing is like a lot of in my main save, which is the save, of course, that I, not only because I call it the main save, it's the save that I play in the most. So, and I'm planning on keeping that save going basically as long as I play The Sims 4. It's gonna be a mixture of things. Like, some people have, like, LPs that are based around the different expansion packs that come out, or has, like, a challenge to it. And I do those too, but with my main save, so, like, the Townie Life, the EV family, and the Forgotten family, they're sort of a mix of everything. They're LP basic as it is, but they also... Basically, I will explore all the expansion packs as I come to them. I don't necessarily revolve around them completely, because not every sim that you play is going to totally do all that stuff. And it's sort of like a mix of, like, playing a generation and playing sort of the packs to see how they are, doing all that stuff. It's sort of like an all-in-one sort of thing going on. So I do want, you know, my main save to have generations to come. So Sims may die, they may go on, which is very sad. I hate my Sims dying. I almost never let them die, but I finally have told myself that in this playing Sims 4, I'm going to let the cycle go. I'm going to let generations continue on and let past generations go, which is heartbreaking to me because I hate my Sims dying. But I'm doing it this time around. So, you know, this house, whoever gets this house eventually in the future, whether it be Sims currently living or Sims that are just kids as of right now, or a Sim that's going to come in the future, chances are they're going to have quite a bit of family at some point. Like, brothers and sisters, and their brothers and sisters are going to have kids and things like that. So I try to keep in mind that a lot of these houses probably are going to have some people come over and things like that. So I do try to keep that in mind. So even if it's small, I don't want it to be constricting for all the Sims to come in. So I did add a basement for the fact that I needed bedrooms somewhere that wasn't upstairs, like in the main floor or the top floor. So that is where the bedrooms are. And as of the layout of the downstairs, there is 2 bedrooms and then a extra room that is also a washer and dryer. I'm sure, honestly, you can move the hallway and the washer and dryer room around if, like, circumstance comes that you need another room. So, like, if there's another child. But as of doing this room, like, when I did it, that is a laundry room, storage area, basically where you throw your stuff that you don't know where else to put. The hallway, the bathroom, and then a child's room and a guest room. So, I did like I did with the Koi Cottage. I did pick 2 random Sims, though I slightly sort of picked them to be somewhat similar. They just have slight differences, because I really wanted to sort of focus on some Sims that are, like, outdoorsy type of people, garden, flowers, plants, those type of things. So I wanted to focus on that. So I did sort of pick 2 Sims that have a personality that leans towards those, so that I could sort of play around with that. But what's interesting, because I did decide to pick one particular Sim who technically is currently in a relationship, not with the other Sim that I picked, but again, this is just to be random. These Sims may never be even friends, for all I know, but it's just to sort of test myself and see what happens when you put random Sims together and what that inspiration can come from those Sims. But the daughter her room probably is the most unique room in this house, because one of them does have a child, but she is definitely not like her parent that I picked, nor is she like the other Sim that I picked. So her room definitely looks a little bit different. Her room looks like the basics of it, so like the lights, the floor, the wallpaper was done by the two adults, while the rest of it was her saying what it looked like. So it was definitely a little bit more individual going on there. And as of the bathroom downstairs, with the bathroom situation, I didn't cut the bathrooms out per se. Because as you see, I'm actually doing wallpaper and stuff too, and the lights. I usually cut doing the lights out and also the wallpaper out, because I go and put the lights in first so that I can see exactly what the wallpaper is going to look with the lights that I'm going to put in that room, and the wallpaper and the flooring, and then I go back and do those as well. And I tend to cut those out because to me they're not as the most interesting parts, and if I can save on some time, I'm going to cut the least interesting parts out and leave in the more interesting parts. But I even left those in because I had enough time with this one. But I built this build, recorded it, left it, saved it, like typed out the whole, well, I didn't type it out just yet. Left it, went and started building on the third build that you'll eventually see later, and then came back to this build on the same day. I took the screenshots for 3 builds on the same day. So the Koi Cottage, this one, which I'm calling the Cozy Leaf Home, I think. Leaf Home? I think it's the Cozy Leaf Home. And then the other one that I will be showing later. And when I was going to take the screenshots, I realized I didn't do 2 of the bathrooms at all. There is 4 bathrooms in total in this house. I didn't furnish 2 of them at all. So I didn't record them, I didn't actually furnish them, nothing. So I didn't take screenshots of those 2 because they were basically identicals of each other, other than the size was a little bit different, so I had to squish things a little bit differently in the smaller one versus the bigger one. But they look very similar to another bathroom that is in this build as well, so I didn't really worry too much about not having those in there. But I was like, you gotta be kidding me, how did I forget this? But I fixed them up and then actually went and saved it again and actually typed in the description and stuff. This house is currently, as I'm doing the voiceover, not on the gallery, but I'm actually going to be going and putting on the gallery very, very soon, so it will be on the gallery by the time this video actually goes up for you all to see. I'm pretty sure it is called the Cozy Leaf Home. I'm almost certain it is. Currently in the video, it's called Fern Park, but that's because that was the place I started building it in, and I hadn't renamed it till the very end, because that's usually what I do. I don't normally name it until I get to the end, because I start getting a feel for the place, and then after I'm fully done, like, I may go in with this mindset, but it may change a little bit as I go through, so I wait until I'm 100% done before I give it an actual name. And I'm really bad at giving the names, because a lot of people put, like, Victorian, modern, traditional. I don't know the difference half of the time. Like, I got modern down pretty well, though. I will say that. That's the one of the few that when I see a house that is modern style, I'm pretty sure I know that it's actually modern style. And Victorian is pretty easy for the most part, but it starts to get to a certain, like, there's, like, several different types of cottage styles, and, traditional, and all that. I start forgetting, like, what's what as it goes on, so I struggle a little bit with naming these sometimes, because I'm like, well, I don't know what it specifically technically is, I just sort of did something, so we're just gonna go with that. That's why I actually didn't name this one anything, really, other than, like, name it after a style of home, basically. I just gave it that name because I did sort of keep the plant aspect in mind, so, and I thought it was, where it's usually smaller things are usually nice and like, either it's small, or it's gotta have, like, a lot of browns tones, and it gets that cozy feel to it. So that was my basis behind the name. So, woohoo! So by now, I'm pretty sure you're seeing me do the daughter's room, or what would be the daughter's room if these Sims were together. I keep saying that because I keep forgetting necessarily that those Sims may never live in this house. But it helps me to have a Sim in mind when I'm decorating a house, but also I'm actually finding it quite fun. And I think I have one other build, like I was saying, that I started. I think I mentioned it. But after that one, I think I'm going to do the next 1 or 2 where I literally, because I was sort of randomly picking these Sims, but at the same time it's some Sims that at least one of the Sims that I picked is like for these houses was one that I really Sims that I really like, and then I sort of picked a sort of random one. But I think I'm literally just gonna like do a raffle drawing type thing and like write some names down and randomly pull names out Sims names out of things, and me forced to have to make a house based off of those Sims. So they would be even more random than what I've done for this house, the Koi Cottage, and the next one. So I think it's a lot of fun. I suggest you actually try it. Like, the Sims that you come up with may not be friends with each other. You may have no plans for them ever getting together. But trying to sort of build a house or a style for them that works and would fit if for some odd reason they were to actually move into a house together, whether it was just like a roommate situation or friend situation or got together type of situation, whatever it may be, it's definitely fun and interesting. I'd say the Koi Cottage was more of a challenge than this one was, because the two people's styles were more different than the two people in this one. But also, if your sim, like random Sims that you choose, have kids, that also helps you sort of do like the whole kids bedrooms as well. Which both of these houses, the Sims have already had some kids, so that was fun to sort of mesh the kids style in there as well. So it's a lot of fun. I definitely highly suggest giving it a try, because it's just, I don't know, it's fun. But anyway, back to the layout of this house, because I just get off on tangents of speaking. But as of for the upper section of the house, there is a living room, a kitchen area which has the eating place in it as well. It's not necessarily a dining room, because it doesn't actually have a dining room table. I used bars instead. And once I get to that part in the kitchen, that was one of the daughter's room, the outside, and the section in the kitchen where they actually eat are my favorite parts. And I did something with like the walls, because I put cabinets up above like the little bar counters, and in between there I put like something in between there as like a little accent wall almost, but it's a little bit differently than just putting a wallpaper up, and I really liked how it turned out and how it looked. So that was one of my other favorite parts in this house. So I hope you like it as well. It definitely was fun to try. I don't know if I'm sure someone's done it, because I feel like it was obvious to me when I seen it that I wanted to do something like that, but I never actually did until this build. So, oh well. But, yeah, and then there's also a nursery, because I was thinking if a family living in this house had a baby, that they wouldn't want the baby to be all the way downstairs, like the baby or the toddler. Like, once they are a child or a teenager, it's fine. And honestly, if you have a teenager, maybe it's fine to also have a toddler downstairs, because then at least the teenager is down there. But for the most part, the nursery is meant for like a baby and a toddler, so that it's a little bit closer to where a lot of people will be currently at, and also a little bit closer to the parents' room, versus down in the basement section would not be very close to the parents' room at all. You would have to go down your stairs and then down a set of other stairs to get to your child, and I figured like realistically that wouldn't be something a parent would want and they wouldn't want to do. So I was like, yeah, let's put that up here. So, and that's up there, but there's also another bathroom and a study area. Now that's inside the house. Now technically outside the house you have the outside section and the pool area, patio area, and that little sort of shack thing outside. So with the pathway, that was one of the things that I tried differently in this build, was the pathway, which as you should have seen in the beginning, it was curved. Funny story with those curved pathways. I don't know if anyone's ever tried it. I personally haven't watched anyone's video that have tried it. Of course, I've seen the rounded decks and stuff like that, but actually making like the pathway out of two rounded decks, because you can't, when you get the rounded decks, one corner is rounded and then the other corner is a square end. like a little jagged square in, so I had to put another corner deck to make that fully curved on both sides. So, but I feel like there's probably someone out there who has tried it before I have, but I just personally have not seen it yet. If you would like me to show you how I did it, I can do a separate short little video showing how I did it, and I'm perfectly fine with that. So just let me know down in the comments if that's something you would like to see. I would like to tell you, if you do give it a try, just be aware that if you start to get a lot of curves, sometimes the house will, at certain points, not during the whole entire thing, but while you're working on fences that are near those curved things, will start acting a little funny. And at some points it will start not knowing which fence is connected to the curved part and which one's not. It's really, really weird. I actually originally had more curves in the pathway, but this size lot really was sort of hard to do that at. If it was a bigger size lot, it would have been easier to do, and in reality I originally sort of had it in mind being a bigger size lot, but I was like, if I get a bigger size lot, I may try to make it too big. So to start off with, I didn't go to a big lot. I may retry doing the curved paths on a bigger lot, because what I was going to do was make it basically that there was a small house towards the front of the lot, and then you worked this pathway to get to like a hidden area in the back of the lot that was like this little area, pool, sitting area, or whatever, was my original intentions. But like I said, I was afraid to go to a big lot just yet when I'm trying to get in the habit of not making rooms and stuff too gigantic, because that's my problem. I make the rooms way too big. So, which I think I've done a lot better at with a lot of my recent builds. Like, I feel like I've improved so much on making the rooms not too big. So, but yeah. But I did try to do like a multiple curved path, and there was like a lot of issues going on, and eventually, like, when I was trying to get rid of things, some of them wasn't going away for some reason. It was really, really strange. I was thinking about keeping that part in. That is one part that I technically edited out, but what I eventually did is I just demolished the whole original thing and started back over. So I started the recording back over, and I just didn't keep the first part of that original recording. But it was definitely really weird. I don't know what was happening, but when you get multiple curved pathways, like curved decks close together, I guess it just starts getting really, really strange. So just keep that in mind if you do try it. Again, I will do a tutorial on it if you want me to. If you haven't seen other people try it or do it, I definitely will give it a try to give you a tutorial, and I can sort of probably show and explain all the weirdness that can happen when you do those curved pathways. One thing with the curved pathways also is there is a section of the second curved deck that will not go away without getting rid of the curve that you want to keep there altogether. So basically what I done is made it look like it was intentionally built that way as like a little decorative spot. So I do put plants and stuff in that little spot, which you should be seeing that very soon, because I think I'm gonna head outside soon. I'm playing this video as I'm talking, but because sometimes I pause at certain parts or whatever, I don't know exactly if my voice is gonna match up with it. But you should be seeing me put the plants in very soon, if not right now. But I did basically make it look like it was purposely done that as a decorative touch, but in reality the game would not physically let me get rid of that part and actually keep the curve on both sides. So, yeah. But also, with the pool area, there is like a little glass roof canopy type thing going on. I put a bed under that, so, which may seem really weird. So when you see that without explanation, you'd probably be like, what is she doing? Basically, one of the reference pictures that I was using actually showed like a little canopy thing, and there was a bed near the pool section as like a little relaxation thing. I know technically in The Sims, you can't actually just chill and relax on your bed, which is really weird. Like, I think I've seen Sims sometimes do it on their own, but there's not an option to actually click on it, which I'm pretty sure in past Sims games there was. So I was sort of like, why can't they do it now and just sort of chill and relax? But it's basically like, some people call day beds, which day beds sometimes are like the couch things that, well, it's a bed that you make look like a couch, but also is technically a bed. But it also can be like those ones that are put out in odd places that you use just to sort of relax and just lounge around. And basically that's what the point of this one is. I put curtains on the backside and around the sides. The sides I make sure to use open curtains, while the backside I use more of a closed curtain so that people wouldn't just see you walking, like people walking down the street wouldn't just see you lounging on your bed reading a book. Because that's what I would imagine you would do on this bed, was read a book, lay there and read a book, sit by the pool. Maybe your kids are in there playing in the pool and you're just lounging on this comfy bed. So that was the point of that. So that's one of the few things that is basically for looks and not for actual functional use. I do tend to make sure that my houses and things like that are functional versus for looks. Just because I want them to be actually used in people's games and also in my game. Not have to worry about Sims glitching around everywhere. Not to say that sometimes some of the stuff I do won't make a Sim glitch, or they won't be like, I can't reach that, because sometimes it just happens and you just gotta play with it. So if you do download it, and just know that I haven't got to actually test the Sims walking around in a lot of these places just yet. So there may be a few issues here and there, but there'll easily be easy fixes as well. So don't worry about that. One of the things that I also do actually try is basically making almost a treehouse sort of thing, but I do it in a way. This is like the curved outside and the little lounge bed and this little sort of treehouse sort of thing is big reasons why I actually liked the outside quite a bit. But it's basically made for like any kids that you have in this area can take their friends up there and sort of relax and have, well, not relax, but play and have fun and be like, oh, look, cool, I'm up here, yay! So that was my point of it. So it has like little kid toys and stuff up on it, and I do put railings eventually, because I think I started putting the kids' toys up there before I started putting the railings. I was like, in reality, that's a really bad idea not to have railings on this. So I do add railings, don't worry if you're watching it and you're like, but I do really, really like that aspect of it as well. So, but then, of course, lastly is the upstairs section as of the layout, which is literally just the master bedroom and master bath, and then that sort of little deck thing that I was talking about, what I was doing with, like, the pushed-in deck or whatever, which I forgot to put a door in until I actually got to, decorating the room, and I was like, wait, they don't have a way to get out to this deck. So, when I went up there, I was like, yep, let me add that door there, so that they could actually go out there. So, but yeah, that's basically simple as it is. One of the things that I'm seeing on my screen currently, I don't know, hopefully I line up close enough with it, that I forgot to mention downstairs. This is meant to be sort of like planty, gardeny type area. I do sort of try to make an area with intentions of it being a garden. So there is these brown streaks on the ground. They're not random. Of course, currently there's not any plants in there currently, but that's meant for basically when you move a sim in there, that's where they can plant some plants. So ta-da! That's what that's there for. There's not just a random reason for brown lines. There's actually a purpose to those. And also I realized in this one, I actually did like the decorations outside. So like the trees and the plants and stuff like that. I did that when I was almost done, like towards the end, which that's normally one of the very first things I do. Normally I build the house and then go do the layout and then go back outside and do like the landscaping and stuff, which I didn't do this time, so I don't know why I didn't. And I think in the build after this that you'll be seeing shortly after this one, I think I did the same thing. I didn't do the landscaping outside till after I got most of the build done, which is really weird. I don't know why all of a sudden I've started doing it that way, but that's a thing that has happened. So not really quite sure, but oh well, it's a thing. But I really hope you do like this video and how the house turns out. like I was saying, it will be up on the gallery once you're seeing this video. My origin ID is Artistic Gamer 7, and I'm almost certain that it's called the Cozy Leaf Home. I know it is Cozy Leaf. I'm pretty sure it's home. It's definitely like home or house or something, but I'm pretty sure it's home. Because I think, to me personally, that fit better, which I'm pretty sure that's what that is. So, if not, it will be down in the description below, right under where I'm talking about that it's a speed build and hope you like it and all that stuff. The next section will have my origin ID and the name of the build. Then down below that will be my information to my social media. I'm also somewhere going to include, it may be before my social media, it may be after. If you watch the Koi Cottage, then you know this as well. Even though I didn't use any CC in this build, I'm going to try to make it a habit of putting the common CC sites that I use to go and add CC to my houses or what I use in CAS. So the links to those sites that I use, they often will be down there below as well, so that you can go check those out. There's like 4 to 6 of them, I think there should be, and if I ever come across a site that I realize is really good and I start using it a lot, I will add it down there as well and mention it to you. But for the first so many builds and creative sims that I'm doing as of late, I'm going to try to remember to say that they're down there, and then afterwards I'll just sort of keep adding them down there, but I may not mention it, so just be aware that they will be down there. So but I really do hope you enjoy the build. The screenshots are at the end, which should be coming up very shortly, because I think I am almost done here with the video. Luckily this video isn't as long as some of my other speed builds. Don't get too used to it. Of course, I didn't speed this one quite as much as I did the Koi Cottage one, so, you know, didn't have to worry about that too much. I could have sped it up just as much as that one and made it any shorter, but once I got to around this 30-35 minutes in between there, that was sort of my goal for a lot of the speed builds. I try to get as close to those times as I can. The Koi Cottage, there was just no way that I was getting it close to it, so but with this one I got under 35, and I was like, okay, well, I'll edit out what I really need to edit out. If I'm froze in a position or something like that, I'll edit that out and get it out of here, but otherwise I'm not gonna be too concerned with it. So I didn't speed it up anymore, even though I could have, but I was like, it's fine, it's okay. So, but please let me know your thoughts down below, and if you actually do end up giving like the whole pick random sims a try and make a house out of it, let me know how it was for you, if you enjoyed it, if it was fun, if your house came out different than how you usually build your houses. Because I think a lot of times when people build houses, they either have a direction of an actual house in real life, or they have a direction for a Sims. So they have like one linear path, but if you have like multiple styles and multiple paths, how are you going to make those all work together? I don't know if people normally do that, but, you know, I'd definitely give it a try. Thank you so much for watching. Like I was saying, all of my information will be down in the description below. My origin ID, my social medias, the CC sites, and also all of my Sims 4 playlists will all be down there, so you can go check those out as well. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Like the video and share it so that others may enjoy it as well. Definitely go follow me over on the gallery as well, because I am planning on making more stuff and putting it on the gallery. Just note, a lot of my Sims are going to almost always have CC, so if you go and look at my profile and you're looking for any certain Sims, make sure you click the advanced option that says include custom content, and you will see my Sims, which you won't get the CC off of them, but you will get the base of whatever is there that you can do whatever you want with. But again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!